10 most fearless animals in the world. There are many things that can make an animal dangerous. Some are enormous, some have unrivaled power, some have a bite so strong you can't even fathom the pain. But there's also the intangible quality of being fearless. Some animals are just not scared of anything, and everyone knows there is nothing worse than going up against someone who has no fear. So, who are the 10 most fearless animals in the world? If you're not too scared, then subscribe to the channel for updates. Number 10. Killer whale. First is a whale so deadly, they call him the killer whale. The orca is the most fearless animal in the sea. There might be a good reason for this. It could be that estimated bite force of 19,000 pounds per square inch. That's the strongest in the animal kingdom. That mouth inflicts more pain than any other mouth. Killer whales are apex predators in a watery world that features lethal and dangerous predators like sharks and even great whites, who are the kings of all sharks. Killer whales go after them and make them a meal. They know they're bigger and badder and faster than all the other predators in the ocean. Who do they have to fear? Many whales fear being beached because that can lead to certain death. Killer whales regularly fling themselves through the shallow waters and onto the beaches in order to snag their prey. They are so smart that they time this perfectly so the waves will carry them back out. But if they time it wrong, they could get stuck and be left to die. But the killer whale isn't afraid of that, or really of anything. Number 9. Harpy Eagle. We move from the seas to the skies. Many eagles rule the skies in their respective habitats, but none rules them with more of an iron fist than the Harpy Eagle. In the Central American and South American rainforests, small rodents are worried about the winged terror from above. But so are the monkeys and sloths. Most monkeys in the world aren't worried about anything picking them off from above, but especially in the Amazon, monkeys are regularly hauled off by the Harpy Eagle. The harpy is about 20 pounds, and he can still lift a 20-pound monkey with his immense strength. This bird of prey isn't scared about any repercussions when going after animals as large as himself. Maybe it's because his legs are as thick as a human's arms, and his talons are as long as grizzly bear's claws. It's a tough life for monkeys in the Amazon. They don't only have to worry about the skies, but they're terrified of the ground as well. And we'll get to why a little later on. Number 8. Tasmanian Devil. But before we get to the monkey's other greatest fear, we have to head to the world down under and see the demon that lives there, the Tasmanian Devil. You don't get a nickname like Devil by having any inkling of fear. These guys probably don't even know the definition of the word. Found only in the island state of Australia, Tasmania, the Tasmanian Devil is the largest surviving carnivorous marsupial, and they're not especially large. 20 to 30 pounds, about 2 feet long, hardly a Bengal tiger. But Tasmanian Devils will hunt for animals like wallabies at 20 pounds, wombats at 40 pounds, and even small kangaroos at 50 pounds. They don't care if these animals weigh twice as much as them, they'll still go after them and take them down. They're extremely territorial and will defend their territory with everything they have. They unleash chilling growls and screeches when defending their territory, but also when hunting and eating. And for their size, their heads and necks and jaws are large and powerful, so powerful that they can exert a bite force of 1200 psi, stronger than the bite of a Bengal tiger. It's not only one of the strongest bites in the world, it's also by far the strongest bite-to-size ratio of any mammalian carnivore. That's packing quite a punch in a small package. Number 7. Komodo Dragon. We move from one island animal to another. The Komodo Dragon is also named after the island he inhabits. In addition to Komodo, he does inhabit several other islands in Indonesia: Flores, Rinca, Gili Montang, and Gili Dasami. If you asked the Komodo Dragon if he was fearless, he'd say, "Silly question. Who do I have to even compete with?" The islands have an absence of predators, so he is the largest one, the unquestionable apex predator. He doesn't have the strongest bite in the world, but he has strong claws for holding his prey, and an even stronger neck built for tearing flesh and pulling back with vicious force once he's latched his mouth onto his prey. He regularly goes after animals that far exceed his size, like the water buffalo that can weigh over 1,000 pounds. And seeing as how the Komodo weighs about 200 pounds, he has no qualms about going after animals that weigh 5 times as much as him, or even more. The truth is, The Komodo isn't just fearless. He doesn't even have a place in his mind where fear would exist, because he's never seen an animal on his islands that he wouldn't go after. Number 6. Polar bear. Traveling far north from Indonesia, as far north as we can go, we reach the Arctic. And the apex predator of the entire Arctic region is the polar bear. The polar bear has no natural predators. He will hunt anything that he finds, whether that be seals, walruses, even other bears. There is nothing to stop him in his icy habitat, so he doesn't allow himself to be stopped. He's not only the largest bear in the world, he's also the largest land carnivore. 8 to 9 feet long, regularly 1,200 pounds. Some have even reached weights of 1,700 pounds. The males are about 30 to 40% muscle. They have thick, sharp claws that not only help them to latch onto seals underwater, but it helps them to have traction as they move across the ice. They can run up to 25 miles per hour on ice. It's this blend of power, speed, and agility on any surface that gives them the confidence to know that there is no reason for them to be afraid, ever. Number 5. Cape buffalo. So far, every animal on our list has been a predator, but we'd like to introduce you to the Cape buffalo of southern and eastern Africa. Not a predator, not at all. He is in fact viewed as prey, yet he is so fearless. It takes a special brand of courage to have when you walk the savannas of Africa and the hyenas and lions are trying to hunt you down and eat you. However, many of the smarter hyenas and lions don't do this because they've learned lessons from the mistakes of others. Most predators that go after Cape buffalo find out the harsh truth. You shouldn't mess with the extremely defensive 2,000-pound muscular buffalo with the horns that can reach several feet in length. If the horns don't gouge you in the vital organs, they'll hook you and catapult you into the air. And that won't be a soft landing, especially not with the hooved beast waiting on the ground floor to stomp all over you. This is one buffalo that is not to be messed with. Number 4. Jaguar. Getting back to those poor monkeys of South America. They're nervous about the eagles in the skies, but they're more worried about what's lurking on the forest floors. Jaguars, one of 7 big cats in the world, but for many reasons you could argue him as being the worst of them all. He is the apex predator in his ecosystem, and he really only has to be mindful of the black caimans, but he knows he can take them down if need be. They tend to stick to the water. When it comes to the land of the Amazon rainforest, the jaguar is king. On the world stage, the jaguar is the 3rd largest of all felines. He's the 2nd fastest, and his bite is the strongest, 1,500 psi. But jaguars aren't found all over the world, just in South and Central America. So as far as land predators go, he knows he's the biggest, the fastest, and he's got a bite that can crack through a tortoise shell. He's the perfect blend of all the stats that add up to a killing machine. A jaguar doesn't have worries in life, not when it comes to competition. His only worries are, does he want monkey for dinner, or tortoise, or deer? The jaguar is known to eat more than 80 species of animals. His broad taste lets you know he does whatever he wants, and he eats whoever he wants. Number 3. Elephant. The jaguar was another predator, but we have to include another non-predator, the elephant. Not only is he the largest non-predator in the world, he's the largest land animal in the world. By far the heaviest, weighing over 13,000 pounds. And he's the 2nd tallest next to the giraffe. This combination of size and girth means that no one would mess with him, and if anyone did, they're in for trouble. The elephant is as big as a locomotive, and as fast as one too, able to hit 25 miles per hour. And if he's charging with those 5 to 8 foot long tusks pointed at you, you've not only made a big mistake, you've made your last mistake. Elephants tend to be relaxed in the wild because they know most intelligent creatures will leave their big selves alone. But if anyone gets too close, they can quickly become aggressive and charge. Number 2. Wolverine. Wolverine in the X-Men comics has his regenerative abilities and is nearly impossible to kill. The same is not true for the Wolverine animal, but he sure acts like it is. Wolverines are about 3 to 4 feet long, 1.5 feet tall at the shoulder, and rarely exceed 60 pounds. So why is this animal going out and taking down prey that's several times his size? They will take down deer and even moose. And it isn't enough that he takes down prey that's so much bigger than him, because all the best predators do that. but he even gets feisty with the predators that are far larger than him. Wolverines are immensely territorial and will defend their territory against any animal that encroaches upon it. That doesn't matter if it's a grey wolf or even a grizzly bear. He truly doesn't care how big his opponent is. But the next animal on our list, cousin to the Wolverine, he's the animal that cares the least. The animal that's the most fearless. Number 1. Honey badger. Meet the honey badger, smaller than the Wolverine but even more unrelenting. About 2.5 feet long and only about 35 pounds, but he's the bravest, most aggressive, most stubborn animal on the planet. He lives in Africa and does not care who he comes across. If you cross his path, you're on his hit list. And if you're on his hit list, you're going down. That can mean leopards, hyenas, yes, even lions. Honey badgers have a special attack. They go for the groin, completely stunning the animal with pain before finishing the job. They never give up, even after being kicked away several times by a wildebeest or zebra. Honey badgers have even killed humans. Perhaps most impressively, they take down snakes like cobras and black mambas, highly venomous snakes. It isn't just that they defeat them, they go after them knowing of their venomous ways and knowing they'll get the venom in their system. They just don't care. 1, their skin is so thick they're sometimes unaffected. And 2, sometimes the venom takes a while to course through them, so while they're finishing off the snake, they'll eventually faint. But they'll later regain consciousness to continue to maul the snake. Not even venom scares the honey badger. And that's why you should be more scared of the honey badger than any other animal.